First thing you're going to do is you're going to put your hand in the middle of your stick. You got 2 sticks and a string or a rope. Usually if it's a shorter string or a chain like this, then it's going to be a speed chuck. It's more for demonstration. When it's longer, they're more effective for self-defense. Whatever you have, start with that. But put your hand in the middle. You're going to turn your palm facing the sky. You're going to do a nice, simple orbital spin. That just means you're making small motions here. Move the side so you can see it. Slow it down. I'm pushing away from myself. So you're going to push away from yourself. You're going to do this for about 30 seconds, and then you're going to reverse it, and you're going to pull it in. Everything you do with one hand, you're going to do with that other hand. This is an ambidextrous weapon. I want you to learn how to fight with both hands. After you do this basic motion, you're going to turn your palm over, and you're going to do the same thing. Palm faces the ground. You're going to push it forward, and you're going to do this orbital spin. Now, it's important here, keep your arm extended so you don't smack yourself in the chin. But if you do, or when you do, because you're going to hit yourself with your chucks, just learn from it. Don't be afraid of them. You don't need to get foam chucks to start. If you have those, use them. That's not a problem. But don't be afraid of your chucks. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to knock your teeth out. I don't think. After you've done that for a while, you're going to pull it in. Depends on how heavy your chucks are and how hard to hit yourself. The point is you're not going to die. So don't be afraid of it. But you're pulling it back. After you do this for a while, you're going to turn your palm up. You're going to go back to that first forward spin. Turn your palm over, forward spin. Palm up, palm down. And then you're going to put that motion together, palm up and palm down for a figure 8 spin. And again, you're just holding in the middle because you're warming up. There's no way to do this wrong. Slow it down if you need to. Speed it up once you get it. You can play around with where you're holding it. You're going to hold it closer to the chain or the string. You're going to get more speed. You hold it closer to the end, then you have a more effective strike for self-defense. So when you hold it like this, this is how you defend yourself. You strike hard and fast. When you come all the way through your body, and notice that you're not going to hit yourself in the hand. That's the biggest fear people have, is you're going to come forward and smash their own knuckles. You do that because you don't follow through with your strike. You're coming forward and it has to hit your knuckles. You don't want to hit your knuckles. Follow through with all of your basic strikes. And you're not going to hit yourself if you do it that way. One of the great things about nunchucks for self-defense is if the bad guy has one of these, you can strike his hand and hit his hand. You don't strike the blade. You go for the hand that's holding the weapon. And you have, bring it back out, you have reach advantage. You can see just, these are short chucks too because of the short chain. You've got a little bit of a reach advantage with the chain from here to here. So from the perspective of self-defense, you can keep somebody back, striking them at a distance. And when you do that for self-defense, you're going to hold here. So back to this warm-up spin. You're going forward. After you've done this for a while, reverse that spin, pulling it back towards you. Palm up, turn your palm down. Do that a few times. Palm up a few times. And then start to put those together so that you're doing a reverse figure 8 in front of your body with your nunchucks or nunchaku. This is how to use nunchucks for beginners. These are all going to be, well, I'll try to keep them in the beginner realm. We might do a little bit more intermediate, just depending on how far we go. But these are mostly how to use nunchucks for beginners, or how to use nunchaku. Some people are going to freak out when they hear me say nunchucks. They're going to say, no, it's not nunchucks, it's nunchaku. Anybody who knows anything knows that, because Sensei told me so. Okay. I like to call them nunchucks or numchucks, or sometimes I just call them Chuck Norris and Chuck the Truck. I'm going to hold Chuck Norris, I'm going to smack you with the Chuck the Truck. But you can call them anything you want, as long as you practice. Now you're going to go into a vertical strike. So you're just coming from the top to the bottom. And you're doing this to start to warm up your shoulders and your elbows and your wrists a little bit more. And then from here, you're going to bring it from your shoulder to your opposite hip. And when you see, as you turn here, you're letting it wrap around and just smack you back there a little bit. And because you're bringing a full strike through and allowing it to roll against your body, it's not going to hurt. And the same thing's happening on your shoulder. You're allowing it to roll onto your shoulder. So you're coming here for this diagonal strike. After you do this for a while, you're going to go into a horizontal strike. And you can do any of these strikes at any height. Bend your knees, go to his knees for self-defense. Just striking, pulling through in these horizontal strikes. So you have a vertical, you have a diagonal, and you have a horizontal strike. Now you're going to put those three together, and you've created what I call the Bruce Lee triangle, or Naruto, for those of you guys who follow the anime. I've never really seen it other than little clips. Some guy named, I don't even know their names anymore. You guys can put that in the comment section below, the two Naruto characters. But they all do the same thing. Bruce Lee did it. Everybody seems to do this basic triangle strike. So it starts on your shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Slow it down if you have to, and then speed it up. Notice again that I'm holding here at the very end as I do these triangle strikes, this Bruce Lee's triangle or right triangle. And then you can start to speed that up, and slow it down. And then, of course, throw it in the other hand. Start with your vertical strikes first. Get that arm warmed up. Bring it across, diagonal, horizontal. Put them all together. Bruce Lee triangle. And now you have one basic combination. You have a 3-strike combination that you can use to show that you know how to use your nunchucks a little bit, even as a beginner. This is how to use nunchucks for beginners. We're going to bring it here to the side, back to where we started. This is your orbital spin. Now, from this orbital, I'm going to have you go into an upper arm. You're going to go to the front and the back, and you're allowing it to bounce off your back of your arm, your tricep, and the front of your arm, your bicep. And you're making this happen. You have a 90-degree elbow bend, a 90-degree turn at the elbow, and your wrist is doing all the work. You're simply going front back. Now, you're not going to do this forever. You're just going to do it once or twice, and you're going to throw it under your armpit. You're going to chicken wing it. That means you're going to put your chicken wing down, put your elbow down. You're going to squeeze so that you can start to push with your hand, pushing forward, and create tension there. Now, that tension, we want that tension to build as we squeeze until you can pop them in the face with it. So we go back to outer orbital. We go into the upper arm, chicken wing down, squeeze, 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 pop them in the face. That's another Bruce Lee move that you see in a lot of old Bruce Lee movies. Or in the Ip Man movies, when they brought Bruce Lee in the Ip Man movies, you saw the Ip Man character, Donnie Chen, or the Bruce Lee character, I don't remember who played him, doing these basic orbitals, the arm, the squeeze, and then the pop right in the eyes. And so you can now show a little bit of an orbital, a little bit of an upper arm, a squeeze, pop, and then throw in a Bruce Lee triangle and a figure 8. And now you know multiple moves with your nunchucks, multiple tricks, multiple skills, and you can demonstrate how to use nunchucks or nunchaku as a beginner. It doesn't take you forever to learn. These are very simple weapons to learn. Now, there are more complicated things. You can get into the wrist rolls. You can throw and catch. We can do figure 8, throw and catch. You can do all these other things, and you can do finger rolls, thumb rolls, behind the neck, over the shoulder, behind the shoulder. We'll go over that in a minute. But none of that matters if from the start. From the very start, you want to learn the basics. So the very basics, you have orbital spins, both small, medium, and large. I can't go too large because I'm going to hit the ceiling. But it all depends on where you're spinning from. If you spin from the wrist or the hand, that's a small circle. You bring in your elbow, that's a medium-sized circle. And then the shoulder makes the largest circle. And I don't have anything here. I'll show you, that's the largest circle, right? And eventually you'll do all these different things once you start to do different techniques or different tricks. But for self-defense, you're always going to do big, fast, strong, explosive motions using your chucks and holding it, again, here at the end. It's not all about tricks, right? Tricks are fun, tricks are cool, but I believe if you learn any weapon with tricks, how to do tricks, like spinning a staff, for example, you should also know how to fight with it. You should know how to defend yourself. They pop out a knife, bam, you smash that knife out of their hand, or maybe you go and strike them in the temple, knock them out, or knock the teeth out of his mouth for self-defense, whatever it takes. But also learn how to use it. I like to do it. It's just a fun workout. I haven't used these now since last year. I just found them in the storage unit. I thought we'd get out and work out a little bit, get the sweat going, play around with the chucks. How to use nunchucks for beginners is one of the most common things that people ask me. In fact, when I go and I do seminars and I teach, I offer multiple self-defense things. And then the funny thing is someone will say, hey, can you teach me how to use nunchucks for beginners? Or can you teach a course on how to use nunchucks or nunchaku, depending on where they're coming from, for beginners? And I'll say, yeah, I'll bring a bunch. And they'll say, can you bring the foam ones? And I'll say, no, I want you to get metal so that when you whack yourself, you feel it, or wood. I don't want you to knock yourself out, but I want you to feel it so that you learn faster. And then we argue, and I usually end up doing a little bit of half and half. I bring foam for some people who are just so afraid of it, they're going to hurt themselves, and then metal for everybody else. Or wood. Wood also. I started with wood. I made my own pair. Some of you guys have made your own pair. All right, so we have the figure eight, both forward and reverse. We have the Bruce Lee triangle, which is a vertical strike, a diagonal strike, and a horizontal strike put together, starting from the shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder. We go back to the outer orbital next to the ear. We go to the upper arm, and then you're going to pinch it, and then you're going to pop them. Now I want to show you how to transfer from one hand to the other. And there are two ways, there are many ways to do it. Two basic ways. One is a reverse transfer. That means you're pulling, and pulling is a strike. It's also a deflection. He's coming in, he's trying to stab you with that knife, and you smash that thing right out of his hand. So, or he's trying to punch you or grab you or choke you, man, or he's getting too close, right up under the chin. So that is a strike going from hand to hand. And the way, and then the other one is going forward. So doing it in the reverse. I'm going to show you those both, but I want to start with the easier one. And for me and for everybody I've ever taught, this seems to be the easiest one to learn from the beginning. Here are the basic rules. Here's how you're not going to hit yourself when you learn how to use nunchucks for beginners. This is how not to hit yourself. You're still going to hit yourself, but get over it, right? You're not going to die. If you like this kind of stuff, if you want to learn how to use chucks or any other weapon, please give me a thumbs up. That helps this channel grow when you do that. So please, thumbs up if you haven't done so already. I appreciate that very much. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to start in let's start in your right hand. We'll start in your right hand. So we'll mirror each other. We'll call this your right. So you start in your right hand, and you're going to pull it straight up. And straight up means that your elbow to your wrist is perpendicular to the ground, like a tree growing up. So we want it straight up in the air. Now, if you turn that at all and create an angle, which most people do, most people will actually do this because they're trying to bring in their hand. It's the way your brain is made. They're trying to bring their hand here, but look what happens from the back. You whack yourself on your spine. And if you're using a heavy pair of wood or metal and you whack yourself on the spine, it's going to tingle a little bit. But you're going to learn fast, so don't be afraid of it. But if you don't want to do that, not to hit yourself, how to use nunchucks for beginners, bring it straight up, and then you can see that because it's straight up and down, it's in line with the back of your arm. Now you can take your hand in front of your body. This is the second thing people do when they first start is they try to reach behind their back and get it. I can't even get my arm back there anymore. I'm too inflexible. But you go to the front and you grab that chuck, and then you let the top one go. That's all it is. Then with a diagonal strike, reverse strike, you end up here, again, perpendicular to the ground. Now look how far away from my head my hand is. The other thing that you'll do is you'll start to do one of these. And again, it's for the reason I said before. For some reason, you can't get your head and your hand separated, and so you always bring your hand to your head for some reason. Because there's a chuck in it and it's attached to a string, it's going to whack you in the head. Or you're going to do one of these because you think it's going to whack you. So when you bring that across, Make sure your hand is in line with your shoulder and your elbow is out a little bit. That allows the chuck to sit on the top of your shoulder or the back of your arm. And then you just reach under and grab it. Your hand goes directly in front, grab it, pop that one out, let that one go, and then wham, whack it back. And again, think of what that does. Smashes somebody in the bottom of their chin. Abby, it's good to see you. Ankit, Casey Jones says he's decent or she's decent with the chucks. He or she. Thief, self-defense is throwing knives. The throwing knives are awesome self-defense. I also found my throwing knives. They're in the back of the truck. Maybe we can do one of those. India is great. India is a beautiful country. Lots of beautiful people. Macho Mike, best self-defense weapon, maybe pepper spray. I don't like pepper spray, but if you get a pepper ball launcher, and there are several kinds. There's very expensive, like the Byrna SD. It looks like a gun, and they make it look like a gun, and it shoots pepper spray balls, and it hits you hard. You can hit somebody really well from 25 feet away, something like that. And then they have different versions. You don't have to spend as much as the Byrna. And then that creates distance. For self-defense, I like something I can shoot from a little bit of a distance. If I'm looking for a non-lethal option, for obviously, we don't want to, you're not going to kill anybody with pepper spray. But you use a regular pepper spray can, you spray him, you're probably going to eat as much of it. So you better know what it feels like, and you better know how to fight and defend yourself once you get sprayed in the face. If you pepper spray somebody, they keep coming, all of a sudden it's all over you. The wind blows the wrong way, you're choking on it too. So learn how, that's why I like the pepper ball launchers a lot better. Singe Man's here. Singe Man saw Bruce Lee at age 10, ran outside, cut up his own broomstick, drilled holes in it, and made his own. Yeah, a lot of us made our own, right, at the beginning. Victor Enrique, it's good to see you. How to make the Bruce Lee kick. I just got my hip replaced, so I'd show you the Bruce Lee kicks. I can do the low kick, the elliptical. He did that one a lot. SDE cam, red oak with the triple rope are super fast and hexagonal, so it really bursts the skin. Yeah, the 3 ropes, those are great. A lot of us had that red oak triple. We made them ourselves out of tomato steaks back in the day. Anyway, I see a lot of great comments on here. Really appreciate it. Again, please give me a thumbs up if you want to do more of this traditional martial arts or weapons. I like to use them for self-defense and for fun. So bring it across your body and reach in front. Keep the upper arm parallel or perpendicular to the ground, and you're not going to hit yourself. If you start to hit yourself in the back or you're hitting yourself in the head, it's because you're pointing the tip of your chuck at your head or at your back. So fix that by bringing it over, look at it, make sure it's in this alignment, make sure it's hanging out under the bottom, and you can easily grab it. A lot of guys will do this, and then they'll start to move their hand to try to grab it, and they can't grab it either. So get that arm static. Don't let it move. Grab it and pull it back. Now, let's put some of those together. We've got our Bruce Lee triangle. You can do the high-pitched scream if you want. I can't do that. I haven't been able to do that since I was about 5. Bring it up here. Do an outer orbital. Do the upper arm. Do the pinch under your elbow or under your shoulder. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Pop them in the eye. Figure 8. And then hand to hand. Or you can start hand to hand. Go into your triangle. Go into your orbital. Go into your upper arm. Go into your pinch. Squeeze, pop. And then go back hand to hand. Now you have a whole bunch of basic skills as a beginner using nunchucks that you can weave together and look really good at. If you like this kind of stuff, please give me that thumbs up. Or don't. Give me the thumbs down. You don't like it, thumbs it down. Either way, I appreciate you being here with me. All right, let's talk about going forward across the body and then up to that hand. Now the same rules apply, exact same rules. Wherever you point this, that's where this is going to go. Wherever you point this tip, this one is going to go where you told it to go. So when you hit yourself in the head, it's because you pointed it at your own head. And if you don't like that, stop pointing it at your head. Put your hand here. Make sure it's away from the body, right? Pull it out a little bit. Make sure it's perpendicular to the ground like a tree growing up. Open your hand so that that web can receive the other chuck. Then watch this. If you just put your hand here and you practice swinging it and swinging it, eventually you're going to feel what it feels like to swing it into the web. You don't want to hit yourself in the head. Point it to your hand. Keep your hand away from your head, because that's the other thing you're going to do is you're going to start doing this. You're not even going to know it. Your hand's going to be here, and guess what's in the way of the web of your hand? Yep, your head. So you have to hit yourself in the head. So if you don't want to hit yourself in the head, get your head out of the way. Don't point your hand at your head. Put it out here and bring it up. And then when you learn how to use nunchucks for beginners or nunchaku for beginners, you will have less fear of whacking yourself in the head in other places you don't want to than the average person, because you understand wherever you point this, that's where this is going to go. So put your hand here. Don't let it move. Fight it. It's going to want to do this. And then you're going to hit yourself in the head. Last time I hit myself in the head about a minute ago, it kind of stings a little bit, so I don't want to do that again. I was trying to demonstrate. I always forget. My head is hard, but it still hurts a little. Bring it across. The hand touches here. Boom, swing it up. Oh, missed it. There it is, right there in the web. Put the hand here, don't let it move. Bring it up, grabbed it. Just keep going. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Now you have multiple skills. Let's count them. You have 1, a vertical, 2, a diagonal, 3, a horizontal. And then you have 4, which is the triangle when you put them all together. And then you have 5, which is the orbital. You have 6, which is the upper arm. 7, which is the pinch under the arm. 8, pop them in the face. 9, switching hands. 10, figure 8. 11, switching hands going forward. Now you've got 11 skills. You're just a beginner. I know most of you guys aren't beginners, but when you are a beginner, when you want to learn how to use nunchucks as a beginner, or how to use nunchaku as a beginner, learn those basic things. Do them every single day. Just do 20, 30 seconds at a time of each one. 11 skills, week after week after week. You'll look like a master, and you don't even have to, well, you'll want to. You'll want to learn the more complicated stuff. Let's talk about one of them. Let's go back to this orbital spin in front of the body. Super simple, right? We'll talk about in front of the body, to the side of the body. Talk about over the head. This is just a helicopter, and I'm trying not to hit that thing over my head, so I bend my knees a little bit. Learn how to do the orbital over your head, to the side, to the other side, marry them together, figure 8. Reverse orbital, reverse figure 8. There you have 12 skills now. Helicopter spin, just over your head. It's not really a new one, it's just an orbital over your head, but you can call it a new one, helicopter spin. Let's call that 13. Now you got 13 techniques. Now you're going to put your hand here, you're going to whip it back. Whip it's the wrong word. We're not going to go fast at first. You're going to pull it back so that it sits on the top of your hand. Now open your hand. Let it balance on your hand, and then hold this one so it doesn't fall, and turn your hand out and catch it. So from here, turn it up, open your hand, hold it here so it doesn't fall, turn it back, and turn it over. This is your wrist roll. Now you can do a wrist roll. So you're learning how to use nunchucks for beginners. Once you get it here, go back in the other direction. So up, open, turn your hand, catch it. Turn your hand and catch it. Turn your hand and catch it. Now you got a simple wrist roll. And the wrist roll, like all the other things, can be done to the side. You can do it with your figure 8. You can be spinning. You can go over the head. But my shoulder hurts for some reason. I'm going to wait on that one. I'm going to pull it up, open, just to show you. Again, you're using this other hand so you don't have to keep picking up off the ground. But once you get it, and do this. I'm going to show you this next one right here. Do it like this. drop it. Every time you drop it, pick it up. Don't drop it on purpose. My point is, you're going to drop it over and over and over again at the beginning. And then when you hit the intermediate part, when you start to get better, you're going to drop it less. And then there's going to come a day where you drop it very little. Not never, because I drop them all the time. You're still going to drop them all the time. When you start to try for new techniques or you start to increase your speed on something, you're going to throw them out of your hand and you're going to drop them. And that's going to be a sign that you're growing and you're getting better. So get your ego out of the way and allow yourself to be bad at it until you can be good at it. That's the biggest question that you're going to ask me is, I was doing it this and it didn't work. What do I do now? Do it again. I was doing this and it felt. What do I do? Do it again. I did this and my wrist hurt. What do I do? Do it again. Do it again. Do it. Don't give up. Everybody quits too soon. Everybody quits too soon. The ones who don't quit are the ones who get really good at it. And then everybody else looks at them and they say, oh, they're so amazing. They're gifted. They're talented. No, they're not. They just didn't quit. You want to be like that? Don't quit. Every time you drop it, pick it up. So now we're going to slow it down. I'm going to do a wrist roll, figure eight, wrist roll, figure eight, wrist roll. And one word about the wrist roll and the length of your chain or your rope. The longer the rope, you're going to have to move your hand and figure out where your hand goes with a long rope. The shorter the rope, you're going to have to figure out where your hand goes and where you do your wrist roll. The length of the chain is going to matter, and the length of the stick is going to matter or depend, going to determine where you hold for the wrist roll on your nunchuck. Now, is the wrist roll a self-defense move? No. Is the figure eight a self-defense move? No. 90% of the moves with the nunchuck are not self-defense moves. They're for improving your speed, your power, the strength of your hand, your endurance, your cardiovascular fitness. They're for teaching you timing and distance, spatial awareness, proprioception. They're like jumping rope when you're a boxer, right? You learn how you jump rope, but when you get in a fight with somebody, you're not skipping a rope at them. You're punching them in the face. You only have 3 basic punches. Really, you only have one in a variation of all those. But you got a straight punch, you got a hook punch, you got an upper punch. And then you're going to bring a down punch. You do all kinds of different punches. But they're 3 basic punches. And then there's a jump rope. Don't be afraid to jump the rope. Get better as a fighter. But understand that the rope is not for fighting. Same thing with the spins. All the tricks on the nunchucks, they're just tricks. They're not for fighting. They're not for self-defense. But don't skip them. Don't not do them because you think there's no value in them. The value is in them teaching you everything else to make you a better fighter with your chucks. And then when you go to defend yourself, you're going to have some basic moves. Now let's talk about this, because this is another Bruce Lee move. You'll see this a lot starting here and coming out here. And usually, I'm getting all sweaty. It's harder to hold my chucks. Usually it looks like this. He's from here, and then he's out here. Or he's here, and then he's out here. And then he's blocking something, and he wraps the guy's wrist, and it breaks it, and smashes him in the face for self-defense or for the movie. But this basic move is your elbows or your arms crossed, your arms uncrossed. Arms crossed, arms uncrossed. So when you're here, if you look at it, your arms are crossed. Then all you do is uncross your arms. And the key is don't let go of your chuck. If you were to let go of your chuck, then you don't have it. And that's where people run into problems. When you're learning with me in person, you get stuck. You're trying to get to here, and your arms are all twisting up. What you do is you keep moving, and you're pushing them apart. You're keeping constant tension on your chucks. So from here to here, from here to here, and you can just practice that. And this will make you much better with all your strikes and all your blocks. Now you can do an upper block, you can do a lower block, you can do a block to the side, a block to the other side. You can do a block and wrap and break. Ooh, I don't know if you can hear the thunder with the lavalier mic, but there's a big storm outside, lots of rain, big flooding, and winds going around. Anyway, so we've got how many skills? We've got basic vertical, basic diagonal, and horizontal. And again, you can do all those at different levels. Hit him in the head, hit him in the arm, hit him in the knee for self-defense. Strike his head, strike his hand, reach out and hit him in the hip. I don't know. But the same thing with the diagonal strikes. Figure out, play around with your levels. Then that's 3 techniques. We put them together. You've got the Bruce Lee triangle. 1, 2, 3. And you can do the Bruce Lee triangle, like I said before, holding it here, goes a lot faster. Holding it here, goes a lot faster. Holding it here, more effective for self-defense. Then you have hand-to-hand. That's 5 techniques. Trying to wipe the sweat off. You have your outer orbital. You have your upper arm. 6, 7. Pinch, 8. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Pop them in the face. 9. Helicopter over the head. We call that 10. You can do a helicopter. You can do like small circles, big circles, small circle, big circle. We're not giving that a new one. That's just, we're up to 10. Let's see. Forward, hand to hand, 11. And then we have a wrist roll. Wrist roll. It's actually 2 techniques. One wrist roll over the thumb. So it goes with thumb side, wrist roll, thumb side. And then it's going to go over your pinky side, wrist roll, pinky side. So 12, 13. And then you put that together, figure 8. Wrist roll, and then make a circle in front of your body. Now this is just a medium-sized orbital spin. Once you do this, you're doing your right hand. This is my right hand. So when you're, well, I'll say this is your right hand, so we can mirror each other. So you're using your right hand, and if you look at the clock, you're going clockwise. When the clock comes up here to 11 o'clock, I had to reverse it. When it comes to 11 o'clock, because we're reversing it, you're going to let it go, and then you're going to catch it in your other hand. Now you can let it go, and you, again, drop it, pick it up. You can let it go and catch it in the same hand, but in this one, I'm going to have you let it go, and with your palm facing the sky, let it go to the other hand. So it's going to go like this, right? So you're going around, let it go, catch it in the other hand, and then reverse. Now you're going, so you're starting from your shoulder, coming through your hip to the inside. So these are inside spins, let them go, catch it. Inside spin, or orbital, and you're just going to do this motion. So you're doing a throw and catch. Throw it, catch it. The key is when you throw it, your palm is facing down. When you catch it in the other hand, your palm is facing up. So I throw it, and I catch it. Let it go, catch it. Then put yourself with 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and you're going to do a figure 8 in front of your body. Now, if you look at this, I'm just doing the orbital, the inside orbital, which if I was to stand to the side, looks like this. I'm going to throw it and catch it in the other hand. But facing you, or when you face me, it's going to look like this, and it's going to look like I'm catching it over my back shoulder. And eventually you're going to get really good at it. You won't have to look at it, and you will catch it over your back shoulder. So you're going figure 8, throw, catch. Now you're in the other hand, figure 8, throw, catch, and you have, and this is more intermediate. This is not how to use nunchucks for beginner, but you've mastered all these beginner moves with me for the last 20 minutes or so. Now it's time we work on an intermediate skill. So you're doing your figure 8, throw and catch, switch your feet. I'm going to have to stop here in a second because I'm sweating so much, I can barely hold on to it. It keeps coming out of the hand. So you're doing your figure 8, throw and catch, switch your feet. The foot that's forward is the same as the hand that's forward doing the spin. And then you throw it, catch it. You get so good at it that you can do it blindfolded, and then you can impress everybody throwing and catching. Now, is this for self-defense? No, but it will make you better for self-defense because you'll start to understand space and time. Spatial awareness. Oops, just hit the garage door opener. When you drop it, pick it up. But don't be afraid to drop it. In fact, the more you, the other thing you're going to experience, if you haven't already, and if you have experienced this, please put it in the comment section. Question is, have you ever injured things Never injured myself with nunchucks. Never injured someone else with nunchucks. I was in a fight once with my brother. I wasn't fighting my brother, although we did fight all the time. We were fighting two other kids in the neighborhood in high school. One was out of high school, one was still in high school. And the big kid had the nunchucks. No. The skinny kid in all black with the black leather jacket and the chain wallet and the Doc Marten boots with steel toes and the long jet black hair and the tattoos. He had the homemade nunchucks. And that's where we got our very first pair. And he was all Bruce Lee. He was doing his whole thing. He was, hucking and jiving with the chucks, or we say chucking and jiving. We're doing all this kind of stuff. And my brother walked straight in, bam, right in his face. Kid dropped to the ground in the snow. It was in the snow. And my brother scooped up the chucks. I fought with the other kid for about a second or half a second. The kid with the chucks, he was the old school kung fu school. He was a kung fu kid. He went to the Greg Green Kung Fu Academy. It's a very obscure reference, but if you lived in Central Ohio 100 years ago, like I did, everybody knew about Greg Green Kung Fu Academy. And this kid was there, and everybody's afraid of him because he was a Greg Green Kung Fu Academy. He got the chucks going all the time, but he didn't know how to fight with the chucks. You're going to know how to fight with the chucks, but his name was Chris. I just thought of his name. Chris, if you're out there, much love. Time heals all wounds. Anyway, that's where we got our first chucks. And then we reverse engineered them and realized it's just it was a tomato steak cut in half and hole drilled in. And then the rope went back 3 times. And, just a little cotton rope. We made our own. And then we both had chucks. And then after a while, we had to make 2 chucks so we could do 2 hands at the same time and do all the fancy stuff that you do with 2 chucks. And I would show you with my other chuck, but Bo's got my chucks back in Ohio because Bo works with his chucks all the time. Anyway, that's our how to use nunchucks for beginners. Give you a lot of different skills, but none of them are complicated. You'll get them all if you slow it down, you practice, and you don't give up. Everybody gives up too soon. Allow yourself to be bad at it first, and then you'll get really, really good. All right, can I do it blindfolded? I can, but I probably want to practice a little bit. And Victor says he's practiced 1 year in martial arts. I've been doing it since I was 9. I'm 53. That's 44 years. So answer your question. Do I ever get injured with them? I don't. I've never been injured. I did see there was another guy, another quick story. This time I won't name names. It was a parade also in Central Ohio, years later, another martial arts school, another phony. And this guy's doing the whole chucks and he's got a belly out to here. Because I remember I had a woman who worked out of my school who taught Tai Chi. She was a Chinese lady. And the Chinese woman said to me one time, she said, how can he do martial arts? He can't turn around without falling over because his belly's so big. And I thought to myself at that point, I never thought of that. I don't think that was really a problem. I think that in her mind, because she was very slender, that was an issue. He shouldn't be like that. She wasn't being mean. It was a real question. Anyway, so he's going with his little school and they're marching down in this little 4th of July parade. And they get in front of the viewing stand of the mayor of the town and all of the official people. And he's doing a hand-to-hand transfer. And I think he was probably nervous and he didn't practice enough. And he had a big, heavy pair, what we used to call the dinosaur chucks, the old style, big, heavy wood, long chain. Bam! Cracked himself right here and cut his skin. And then the blood came out and he fell to the ground, kind of stunned. So I did see that. I've never injured myself. Garen says, don't forget to practice with both hands. Amen. Victor asks if I make the ninjutsu. No, but I used to be directly across the street. We could throw rocks or we could throw ninja stars at each other with the American Ninja. Some of you guys know who that is. And very famous guy too. That's all I'll say about that. Josh trains Okinawa style Kyushu Jitsu. Great style. Nico, he's hit himself so much with the chucks. I did too. I hit myself a lot at the beginning, but I'm saying I've never been injured. This is something I've always taught my students. there's a difference between pain and injury. Pain is good. It's good feedback. You're going to learn from it. But if nothing is torn or broken or cut, if there's no blood coming out, there's no bruising, no contusion, and the bone's not like hanging because you broke your arm, you're not injured. So if you're not injured, you're just hurt. And if you're just hurt, keep going. You know, if no one else tells you for the rest of your life, let me be the first one to say, toughen up, Buttercup, or suck it up, Buttercup. And that, you know, that's one of the aspects of martial arts that was so beautiful for me as a young man growing up, is that it toughened me up, you know, and there are other things that toughened me up too, but that was a really good part of it. So if you need to hear that from somebody, maybe somebody a little bit older like myself, and you're younger and you're starting out, or you're older and you need to be reminded of it, toughen up. Stop giving up so soon. Stop giving up on yourself. Don't be a wimp. Toughen up, Buttercup. Anyway, what's a good pair to order? Where's a good place to order a quality pair? I put a link below, a martial arts store. It has all kinds of stuff in it, and it has lots of different types of nunchaku or nunchucks. So if you need a pair of nunchucks, check in the description below, and they're in there. Yeah, Silent Walk says some of the videos slow down. So you can rewatch this video and turn the sound off, because that's annoying. Close my lips, and then put it on. You can change the speed, put the speed on the slowest thing, and then you can learn almost anything. So watch me do it in slow motion and pick up the intricate things that you don't see when I'm going too fast. Indie tech consultant, like toys when he was a kid too. He or she. Okay. I liked playing with computers when I was a little kid too, indie tech. I still do, right? I just got my cybersecurity certificate from Google to expand my skills, and I got my tech support from Google to expand my skills. So maybe we share some things. We share playing with toys. We share the anyway, computer, the nerd stuff. All right, Frankie says train 3 hours a day, 6 days a week in martial arts. He's in phenomenal shape, but still packs heat. Amen. So do I. When I go back out, I get rid of this extremely sweaty shirt, put on a clean shirt. This is my third shirt today because it is hot down here, and my air conditioning doesn't work in my truck. Driving around hot and working out and all that. And I'll put my concealed carry back in. So for self-defense. But that's my personal choice. Not everybody can carry it where you live. And I say, just like your point, I think, is train everything, right? Train your body, train your elbows, train your hands, train your mind, see the principles of martial arts, learn the principles of self-defense, which are more important, learn how to defend yourself with different techniques. And you're not necessarily going to carry these around, but you might carry a stick, and that works with a stick, even if it doesn't have a chain in the middle. All these techniques work with a stick. In fact, if I had a stick handy, they're not right here. I'd show you. Next time I'll show you how to do all the strikes with a stick. And then it's the same thing as the nunchucks. The only difference is these articulate in the middle, and that gives you a few more options. But it's the same thing. Learn how to fight with these, you'll know how to fight with a stick. All right, you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. If you have any comments, put them in the comment section below. If you like this kind of stuff, give me the thumbs up. Share this with others if you can, because that helps the channel grow. And if anything, I need the channel to grow this summer. I'm in a transition period. The dojo is closed. That's why we're training in the garage. And I'd like to get things going again. And I need support. And our working together is that support. So when you give me the thumbs up and you subscribe and you share with others and all that stuff, that helps me keep the channel going. Anyway, you guys have been awesome. I appreciate you, and I'll be back a little later. Thank you.